Well, let's follow through a little bit more on that story. Tropical cyclone, you'd have heard from that report, making landfall in Mozambique, and weather authorities warning that it's headed for Tanzania's coastline as well. Well, we're now joined live from Dar es Salaam by our correspondent, Daniel Kijo. Daniel, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program. What do we know about Cyclone Kenneth's encroachment into Tanzania?
Thank you, Peter. As far as the Tanzania Meteorological Agency's latest report, it is about 150 to almost 200 kilometers from Tanzania land, so somewhere in the border between Tanzania and Mozambique. And it has been classified as a level 4 cyclone. Residents in the southernmost part of Tanzania have been warned to seek high land. So since morning, for the last 10 hours, villagers and people who live by the coast in Lindi, Pemba, and Mtwara have been moving up to find shelter. The government had chosen evacuation centers or areas like the airport, in schools where citizens could go. So it is a strong tropical storm and a serious cyclone.
So people are saying that this cyclone is the first one to have hurricane strength. So some of the damage could be worse than we've seen with Cyclone Idai. What are the authorities saying in terms of preparing for this?
Well, the Tanzanian government has acted very promptly to try and make sure that citizens are not in the coastal areas. They have urged communities that rely on fishing to not fish for the next 72 hours. We know also they are working with NGOs and the humanitarian community like the Red Cross, who are already on standby to assist should the hurricane cause a lot of devastation. So as far as it is, the evacuation and moving them from low areas is the focus right now. But obviously emergency services are on standby as we head towards now the most critical moment of the storm towards the next 24 hours, towards Friday.
All right, so you say 24 hours. What is expected? We saw with Idai that it had several waves, actually. It wasn't just one wave and it went and disappeared. Are the weather people describing the kind of event that Cyclone Kenneth may follow?
Yes, this is considered could be one of the most powerful cyclones in the southern part of Africa to make landfall. In fact, Tanzania has been hit by similar cyclones in its history. One in the 1950s in Lindi and another one in the 1980s in Bagamoyo. But the one in 1952 was a very devastating cyclone. So the weather team at TMA, Tanzania Meteorological Agency, have said that as much as the rains have started in Lindi and Mtwara, they will pick up. So they've warned citizens to not be fooled by the steady rains that have been raining throughout the day, saying that towards midnight and early morning of tomorrow, there will be severe winds, a lot of high waves, a lot of rain, and possibly even flooding. So it is a serious situation, and the government and citizens in Mtwara, Lindi, and Ruvuma have been urged to take heed and beware of this cyclone.
Do we know how many people are affected in the southern parts of Tanzania by Cyclone Kenneth? Those that are already moving, what sort of numbers are we looking at?
Well, the numbers have not been released, but this southernest part of Tanzania is made up of coastal communities, people who live and depend on the ocean to survive. So the numbers are not clear, but the kind of agriculture, the kind of economic activities that they do is very much dependent on water and being by the sea. So all these communities have been moved and are still moving towards tonight and early morning.
All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks very, very much indeed, Daniel Kijo, our correspondent there in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. And just to give you an idea of just how serious this cyclone is, hitting landfall to Category 4, we're talking about winds speeds above 200 kilometers an hour. That's the bottom end of the type of speeds that these winds are coming in at. And this is catastrophic damage. It can tear off roofs at these kinds of speeds. So we wait and see just how it plays out. Tropical Storm Idai was Category 2 when it landed, and this is Category 4. So it's almost double in strength, which is, I guess, the fear. But that's where we're going to leave it. We'll continue to monitor that story as it plays out.